Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Danny from Fitness with Dan, and today we're going to be going through a beginner's boot camp. So it's just body weight, don't need any equipment, just a little space like I've got here. The program's going to be 25 minutes long and we're working with 7 different exercises. So today we've got a press up, we've got some body weight squats, some alternating backward lunges, some static side lunges, and that's your first section. The second section, we've got glute bridges, inside mountain climbers, and dead bugs. That's your second section, that's more core related. Okay, so if all of those exercises are quite familiar, you don't feel you need any instruction on them, skip straight ahead to the video, make sure you've had a warm up first. If you want a little bit of coaching on them to know exactly what you're doing and get the most out of this, then stick around because I'm about to explain them. Our first section begins with press-ups. So we're going to be doing kneeling press-ups, as this is a beginner's video. If you are a little bit more advanced, you're welcome to take your knees off the floor and do the full version. Now, what I'm looking for with a press-up, to begin with, is hands directly underneath shoulders and hips locked in, so I've got a nice straight line from knee, hip to shoulder. Okay, now I want to keep everything there as I lower myself and push myself up, making sure I'm using the full range. What I really don't want to see is the hips coming out or the elbows flaring out too wide. You'll find if you've got your wrist directly underneath your shoulder the whole time, you're not going to be able to flare them out into an unsafe position. But if you come just an inch or so in front, you can, okay? Quite dangerous for the shoulder. Shoulder doesn't like it at all. So make sure that your elbows are pointing behind you or slightly outwards like this, but not in line with the shoulder, okay? So that's your press up. Next we've got bodyweight squats. Now there's a few ways you can set your stance. Everyone has personal preferences. Main thing I'm looking for is symmetry. So whether you want to have your feet quite close together, about hip shoulder width apart, and pointing forwards, or if you want to go a little bit wider and turn out a little bit like I like to, that's fine as well. Anywhere in between, just don't let them point inwards, don't let them come too close, and make sure they are symmetrical. So once you've got your set up, bend the knees a little bit, force them out so these guys are active and the knees stay in line with the toes, and then you're ready to go. So all you do is, keeping a nice high chest, head up, you're going to stick your bum out so you can feel the weights in your heels. Hands can be out for a counterbalance, and then I'm just going to try and sit down. Okay, so I'm just bending my knees mostly from that point, and I'm pushing up through the heel. Okay, sitting down, standing up, and the whole time I'm thinking chest high, bum low. Okay, and do watch out for those knees. As you go lower, they're going to want to wobble in for most of you. You want to keep them forced out. The lower you go, the greater the demand to do that, because you become a bit more unstable as you go deeper into your range. Backward lunges, very much like your forward lunge. Start with feet pointing forwards, and you're just going to take a big step back, bend, so we've got 90 degrees at both knees, and a nice straight line through here with the chest high, shoulders backing down, head looking forwards. Okay, that's your backward lunge. We'll just be alternating as we do it. Static side lunges. Okay, so really important here is foot setup. So you want to go quite wide. I've got about 1 meter between my feet, and I want to keep these pointing forwards the whole time. Now, as you go, they're going to slide out for most people, which is what I often see anyway, not everyone, but most people, so do keep an eye on them. Okay, so once I've got my distance right and my feet are pointing forwards, I'm going to unlock my knees, hands up for a counterbalance, head up, and I'm just going to shift and load one side of my body and then the other side. Okay, now the trick to these is not going sideways, it's going ever so slightly backwards. Okay, so once I've got all this set up, if I go sideways I get stuck here. But if I stick my bum out and load my heel, just like we did in the squat, and then shift, lower and load, I can get much deeper into that, I can get much further into that. So it's more like a side squat than it is a side lunge. Okay, if you look at the actual position, right, you'd think I'm in a squat here if you got rid of my left leg. Looks exactly the same in terms of the angles that we're bending at. So that's how I want you guys to think about it. Alright, so that is your first section. The first section is sort of your bigger movements. These are your sort of prime movers we're working here, your multi-joint patterns. It's going to get you a bit more out of breath, a bit sweatier. Second section, we're looking more at the core, okay? So we've got glute bridges, inside mountain climbers, and dead bugs. Glute bridges you guys will have seen before, you'll have done before. Now, it looks like a very simple exercise, but a lot of people get this wrong. It's a fairly easy exercise, but it teaches you a lot, okay? It really does teach you great control of your pelvis and your core. So let me talk you through how I want you guys to do this. So when you set yourself up, we're looking for your ankles, knees, and hips all to be in line at hip width. Your toes are going to be off the floor. They're going to want to turn out a little bit. Try and keep them pointing forwards as best you can. Okay, so once we've got that, I don't want you guys to think about trying to lift your hips up and put them down. I want you guys to think, first of all, flattening your lower back. So I'm going to squeeze my abdominals to push into the mat below me. I shouldn't be able to get my hand underneath. Now once I've done that, I'm going to squeeze my glutes and very slowly raise my hips off the floor, continuing that. And I should feel that here, here, and here, okay? And then if you have a look at the way I'm sort of contacting the mat, okay, I'm going down vertebra by vertebra, and I'm coming up vertebra by vertebra, okay? I'm not going up, down, and thinking about getting my hips as high as I can. Now, we actually want to be thinking about our hips going this way, okay? We're thinking genitals to chin, okay? Not upwards. So I squeeze, push down, tuck as I squeeze my glutes, and lift. And when you're lifting, it's not about how high you're going. What we're really trying to do here is get your glutes working, get them active, get them firing, get them switched on, and get them really working. So your lower back tends to take over that job if you go a little bit too high. So just go to the point, for me that's about there, where you feel these guys are doing the work and these guys are not this. If I go any higher, you can see I've got that slight curve there. This is now holding me up. This is taking a lot of the tension because these guys aren't going to stabilize me that high up. So that's something to watch out for. Really take your time with them, because like I said, they will teach you a lot about how to move your body. Now, the mountain climbers and the dead bugs. I want to talk a little bit about breathing with this. Okay, so bear with me on this. I know this explanation is taking a little bit of time today, but in terms of what breathing does to this part of your body, breathing does a lot of things to your body in terms of movement and stuff, but we're going to talk about intra-abdominal pressure for a second. So when you breathe out, you have more pressure, okay? When you breathe in, you have less pressure, okay? So any exercise or any movement, when you have to really stabilize this and switch this on, you need to be breathing out, okay? Now, the way you breathe out will also massively affect the amount of pressure you have, okay? So you guys can do this with me now if you want, if you really want to feel what I'm talking about. Put your hand on your stomach, relax completely, and just go. Okay, so when you made that sound, you might have felt it got a little bit harder. Now try and go. When you blow, a little bit harder again. Now try and make this sound. And you can feel that was much harder than the others, okay? So depending on how big the hole the air is escaping from your mouth, that's going to dictate how much pressure you can produce. So we want as much pressure as we can when we're really isolating and really loading this part of the body, which is what the mountain climber and the dead bug are going to do, okay? So I hope that all makes sense so far. Now let me talk you through where that's going to apply to these exercises. So your inside climbers are going to look like this. I'm in a plank position and I'm trying to tap opposite elbows, okay? Now when I'm in that plank position, I need tension here, absolutely. But the requirement for intra-abdominal pressure increases massively when I take a foot off the floor and now I'm balancing on a 3 points rather than a nice stable square of 4. Okay, so that's when I'm going to breathe out and I'm going to make this sound. But also I'm going to breathe out through the entire phase of the movement, both forwards and backwards, until that foot has hit the ground again. Okay, so I'm going to breathe in when it hits. Okay, and that way I'm going to be much more supported here. I'm going to be able to do the exercise much more efficiently. Now, dead bugs, exactly the same thing. Let me show you what a dead bug looks like. So we begin in this position here with our knees directly above our hips and our hands directly above our shoulders. So first and foremost, engage, okay? Push your lower back into the floor. You'll feel this gets hard immediately, and you keep that through the duration of the exercise. Now, the further my limbs come away from the body, the harder it's going to be for this to stabilize that, and it's going to want to make my lower back come off the floor. So that's when we're breathing out. And just like the mountain climber, it's for the duration. So I'm going to breath in when I don't need as much pressure. Okay, now in terms of how low you go with the hand and the foot, the lower you go, the further out you go, the more demand there is for intra-abdominal pressure. So if you feel, even with the breathing, you can't keep your lower back pushed into the floor for the duration of that 40 seconds, just don't go out as far, okay? The key here is pushing that down. If you're not working this, and you're probably going to start loading the lower portion of your spine a bit much. So I know that was all a really big mouthful, sorry about that, but I think they're really, really important concepts for you guys to understand and practice, because they're going to help you out in a lot of exercises. It's incredibly important to understand a little bit about breathing if you're going to make exercises more pliable, safe, functional, and you're going to get more out of them. Okay, alright, I'll stop rattling on now. Let's get started, shall we? Make sure you've had a warm-up. If you need to practice any of the exercises before we start, go ahead now. Make sure you've got some water next to you, and let's go. Okay guys, round one, starting off with press-ups. Get yourselves down on the deck, get yourselves ready. Okay, so hands directly under shoulders. Here we go, 40 seconds. Make sure those hips are locked in. If you don't feel pressure in your stomach, probably not. Nice rhythm to the breathing. In on the way down, short and sharp on the way up. As you breathe out. Good, 20 seconds to rest. So on to squats next. Now remember, the stance that you use isn't completely up to you. Just make sure it's symmetrical, okay? So again, whether you're fairly close or like me, you're a bit wider with feet pointed out a little bit, leave it up to you. Symmetry, bend, force them out, keep them out, and off you go. Same breathing rhythm as you had with the press-ups. In on the way down, out on the way up. Try and use your full range, guys. Low as you can each time. And you notice a difference in the breathing, in my breathing. When I was doing the press-ups, I was now I'm right? Reason is, there's less of a demand for pressure here, okay? It takes a lot of energy to do this, so you only use it when you need it. If you're just looking for a rhythm, you blow instead, so you create pressure, but not enough, not too much that it's going to tire you out. Right, backward lunges next. Both feet pointing forwards, upright, big step back, off we go. And note the breathing on this one as well. less of a requirement for pressure. So I'm blowing, I'm not doing this. Now this would be different if I made the lunge more explosive, or if I stuck a weight on my back. That would change things, but for here, just a nice blowing rhythm is all we need, okay? Try and keep your head looking at one spot for balance. Okay, static side lunges, so use your rest to set your feet. Remember, you're nice and wide. Toes are pointing forwards, keep an eye on them, they're going to try and turn out. Unlock the knees, hands up to counterbalance. And then when that bell goes, bum out, shift, push back. Bum out, shift, push back. Show you some from a side view. And if you note the breathing here as well, it's just like all the lower body movements we've done. This doesn't need as much support because these guys are taking more of the load. Whereas the press up, well, I've got my core right in between my 2 points of balance, my hands and feet, or hands and knees. So gravity's putting a lot more pressure on it, right? Which is why we're doing this when we're doing the press up. Okay, so 1 round down, 3 to go. Hope you guys are all doing alright so far. Let's get our hands set up directly underneath the shoulders. Lock those hips in, and here we go. Make sure we're using full range, guys. That means locking the elbow out at the end and going as low as you can on the way down without breaking form. If you're wondering what that looks like, that would be curling up like this, or any other form that people like to cheat. Good. Okay. Right, up on your feet, guys. Get ready for your squats. Quick sip of water if you've got time. So set that stance. Symmetry, always remember that. Unlock the knees, force them out. Feel these muscles working to force them out. And then here we go. Remember to keep that head up and looking forwards. Don't look down because your body will follow it and you're going to round your back. Go as low as you can with a nice straight back. Okay, with the range on this one, it's just as important as any other exercise. If anything, more important because it's very functional. We want to be using the whole thing, all of the range, to get the most we can out of it. Okay, and like I said, the end of your range is as low as you can go with good form. So that means a straight back, weight in the heels, knees not wobbling all over the place, okay? Somewhere you can control it. Okay, backward lunges. Feet pointing forwards. Here we go. Look at the same place for balance. Another important thing, if you can't see where your back foot's going, sometimes people go out a little bit too much, or unfortunately behind a little bit too much. Really try and avoid that. Try and keep it directly backwards, okay? So we're going from hip width to hip width, okay? The going wide isn't the worst thing in the world. It's just not what we're doing here. Crossing the one foot behind the other, be very careful of that because that's going to put a tremendous amount of pressure on the knee. Okay. Static side lunges. Same setup. Really, really wide. Turn them in. Unlock the knees. Hands up for the counterbalance. And remember, we initiate by going back like a squat, shifting over, pushing back. quite a tricky movement, this. Okay. So don't worry if it doesn't feel right. It's something you've got to practice a little bit. Okay. And as it begins to feel easier, you can try getting deeper and deeper into those. With this one for me in particular, because I've got really tight adductors, really tight inner thigh. Depends how well I've warmed up. For this one I haven't warmed up well enough, obviously. Okay, so that's 2 rounds down, 2 to go. Quick sip of water. If you know what you're doing now and you're sick of me talking, stick it on mute, stick your own music on. I won't be offended. Maybe I will, but I'll never know. Press ups, hands underneath shoulders, hips locked in, and go. And also keep your head ever so slightly looking forwards, particularly if you're on your knees, okay? It's just going to help us keep our chest up a bit better. So don't look between your hands, look in front of them. And pay a little bit of attention to how your shoulder blades feel. You should feel them close on the way down and open on the way up. And you almost want to exaggerate that open. Push yourself even further away from the floor. Get them to separate as much as you can so we can increase the range of motion. And we can get a little bit of work into a muscle around here that's very important, and in most people very underworked or inactive or weak or whatever you want to call it. Okay, squats. Here we go, you know the drill. Nice breathing rhythm, guys. The inhale is really going to help you to get lower, okay? Because for most people the limiting factor here is going to be the ability to keep upright, and they're going to fold if they go too low. The inhale excites muscles responsible for opening, for extending your spine. So make sure you take a nice breath in each time you go down so you can get a little bit lower whilst keeping good posture. A lot about breathing today. Okay, backward lunges. So remember what I said about the hip width apart? Make sure you do stick to that. We can't have any of this. It's detrimental for your knees. Terrible pattern to get into. It won't hurt the first time, maybe not the 100th, but it'll get you. Nice rhythm to the breathing. Really nice slow control down. Be careful how you place that foot, because that's the foot that you're going to be pushing back off of. If you place that in the wrong position, you don't have a stable base to push back off of. Okay? So it's really important to absorb and control the way down. 1, so we don't take any impact on the joint. And 2, so you've got that stable base to push off of. Okay. Static side lunges. You know the setup, wide, toes pointing forwards, soft knees, hands up to counterbalance. You can kind of do whatever you want with your hands. I like to either have them here or here, leave it up to you. Okay, here we go. So have a look at my trailing leg, the straight leg. That is slightly bent. It's bent a lot, but it's definitely not locked, okay? And that foot's flat on the floor. These are things to watch out for as well, because we need that trailing leg to have some kind of support, okay? Particularly if you want this to have a functional carryover, which you should. Otherwise, you're in the wrong place. Okay. The reason is because when we do anything day-to-day life, particularly in sports, and we sidestep, if we get used to locking that, something hits that, that's going to snap. Whereas here, you've got some support, you can move off of it as well, a little bit better. One more round, hands down, here we go. Last round on this. Really focus here, guys, crank those reps out. This is your last round, and I'm going to give you a full minute to rest after it. Okay, so you can really push it. Good, on your feet. Okay, get ready for your squats, guys. Same rules apply, okay? So if you can push it a bit more, good, but don't push it so far that you lose form. Form is key here. It's the most important thing, and it precedes anything else that we do. So sit yourselves up. You know the drill. Really focus on that range here, guys. Range, breathing, chest high, bum low. And don't forget those knees. They need to be forced out, particularly as you go deeper and you're about to push up. That's when they like to wobble. That's when they're least stable. And that's when you need to make a special effort to control them. Good, backward lunges next. So hands, I forgot to mention on these. Do whatever you want with them. I like to counterbalance. Okay, so I've got opposite limbs going forwards at the same time and backwards at the same time, just like when we walk. Okay, off you go. Okay, one more exercise in this section, then a full minute rest. And then we'll begin our core section. Okay, so static side lunges. Work on whatever it is you feel your performance is lacking in. Whether you can't keep that trail leg straight, slightly bend, whatever it is, toes going out. And if it's all feeling okay, try and get a little bit of extra range. Should be pretty damn warm now, so you'll find it a little bit easier to get a little bit lower into that movement. Keep the head up so we can keep our chests up. Check those feet every now and then. You'll see mine are going out a little bit as well. It's very hard to control. Okay, right, you've got a minute and 20 seconds rest. Have a drink, have a relax. So we are following the same system. 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 4 rounds, but we've only got 3 movements this time, so this is a slightly shorter section. Okay. So, bridges to begin with. I know I rattled on about them earlier. Like I said, they shouldn't be too physically difficult, okay? But I do want you to really concentrate on them and learn as much as you can from them. Remember, our aim here is to get these guys working hard, this working hard, these working hard, nothing else, particularly not this, okay? So if you follow all the rules that I was talking about earlier, try and hone in on those things. That will help a lot, and you'll find that what you learn from that transfers very well into a lot of other movements. Okay, we're on in 15-ish seconds, so any major hip bend that you're doing, deadlifts, single leg deadlifts, good mornings, even squats, it's got a really, really good transfer to. Okay, so lying down, you know the drill, guys. Ankle, knee, hip in line, toes off the floor, and curl. Squeeze, uncurl, relax, curl, squeeze. squeeze, uncurl, relax. Remember, before those hips even come off the floor a millimeter, your lower back needs to be completely flush with the floor. And you do that by engaging your lower abdominals. Okay? So if you want, you can put your hands on your stomach and sort of top of the pelvis, bottom of the ribs, and feel that your fingers get closer and further as you're doing that. Okay, small rest. Now, mountain climbers. So, same rules as a press up. You're going to have a straight line all the way through. Your wrist is going to be directly underneath your shoulder, and whether you want to go or if that's too hard, you can go on your knees and go to the outside. Leave it up to you. Same rules apply. Breath in. Breath in. Really get used to that breathing. Nice and slow, guys. These are not fast mountain climbers. This is for your core. This is about control and learning how to breathe and support your spine when you do so. Good, rest. So as I said, when we come back to that one, I didn't mention before, sorry, but yeah, full ones, I like that. If that's too hard, go on your knees and go to the outside. Slightly different things, but very similar. Okay, dead bugs. So lie down on your backs. We're over here. Engage and do not let go of that. And then opposite limbs. Breath in. Remember, our main focus here, guys, is pushing that belly button towards the spine, pushing your lower back into the ground. That cannot leave at all, okay? Otherwise you're putting strain on your back and you are not working your abdominals properly and you're teaching yourself a bad pattern. Okay, so just don't go out as far, just go to here if you find that's quite hard. And if you need to take a break at any point, if you feel you can't control the movement, just hug your knees to your chest, have a gentle rock from side to side and chill out, okay? Don't worry too much. Right, bridges. Oh, I was already done there. Okay, so ankle, knee, hip in line, toes off the floor, lower back flush with the mat, and curl, squeeze, uncurl, relax. Just get used to that motion, that caterpillar type feeling of your back hitting the floor and leaving the floor, okay? You should really begin to feel the glutes burning. You should feel some tension in your abdominals, hamstrings as well, back of your legs. But we really want to be squeezing those glutes together like we're trying to hold a piece of paper to drive the movement. Okay, it's called a glute bridge for a reason, guys, not a lower back bridge. Okay, inside climbers. This time I'm going to do it on my knees for those of you doing it on your knees so you can see what it looks like. Right. Get yourself set up, hands directly underneath the shoulders, straight line from knee, hip to shoulder, and off you go. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, I can't get my knee to touch my elbow, whichever variation it is that you're doing. So for a small number of you, that's going to be because you don't have the flexibility for it, and that's absolutely fine. You go as far as you can. A lot of you are going to be deceiving yourselves. So I see a lot of people when they try to do this, they just complain over and over again that they can't get the knee to touch the elbow. Truth is, the wrist is not underneath the shoulder, and that's the reason for it. So make sure that wrist is directly underneath the shoulder and you'll be able to reach it. Okay? What have we got next? Dead bugs. So like I said, you don't need to go that far to the ground or close to the ground. Okay, the further you go, the more you're going to need to engage here. If that back's coming up, don't move much. Just go a little bit like so. Okay, if that's enough for you, that's enough for you. Your body doesn't know the difference between the distances in terms of the benefits you're going to gain from it. It just knows I can't do any more, and that's where you need to be pushing it. Okay. Can be a little bit tricky with the coordination as well, this one. Right, let's focus on the breathing. Good. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go. I think I always lose track of this. So, back to bridges. You guys know what to focus on. Alignment, toes up, and then initiate with the stomach. Okay, stomach, glutes tighten as we curl, yep, and then we lower down and uncurl. If you think about the finished position of this is where I want your pelvis to be when you're doing your press-ups or doing anything in a plank position. And if you're exercising from home or exercising in general, but particularly from home, you're in that position a lot, okay? So this is one of the uses, one of the benefits of doing the glute bridge in terms of teaching patterns, okay? But also when you're standing up from any kind of hip bend, squat or lunge or anything like that, teaches you to tuck, to posteriorly tilt that pelvis and utilize these muscles that are responsible for that and not use this too much. Okay, we need great control over our pelvis to be able to move our bodies efficiently and effectively without damaging ourselves. Right, inside climbers. Good. Alright, lying on your backs and get yourself set up for dead bugs. Okay, let's focus on the breathing again. So when you're ready, hands directly on above shoulders, knees directly above hips. Squeeze belly button to spine, lower back into the floor and Was that the bell? Yeah, it was the bell. Thought I was hearing things. Okay, we've only got one more round to go, and then you guys are free. So, get yourselves into position for your bridges. You know the alignment. I'm not going to talk too much this round. Just focus. Okay. Nice, slow and controlled, guys. Really think about what you're feeling here. Good. Okay. Climbers. Okay, I'll show you guys the other version again, the kneeling version. So, wrist directly under shoulder, we know. Straight line from knee, hip to shoulder, we know. And here we go. Good, okay. One more exercise, dead bugs. So get yourselves in position. You all know what to do. Cool, hug your knees to your chest and have a gentle rock from side to side. Well done, all finished. Okay, so that's you guys all done. I hope that wasn't too bad and everyone's feeling okay. Everyone got on with that okay. And learnt a little bit today. I kind of went off on a little bit of a rant today, sorry, I'm just in one of those moods. Anyway, if you found that video useful and you want to do it again, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the favourites button, so you can just go into your favourites and redo that program, that boot camp, anytime you want to. Right, have a good day, I'll see you guys later.